afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The very few of you who are left in this conference. Welcome to the Roundtable on partnerships between academia and customs. Let me My name is Mikhail Kashubsky. I'm the head of Secretariat of the International Network of Customs Universities. And let me introduce my fellow panelists. So our panelists for this roundtable, Mr. Giovanni Gaeta is the technical officer at the WCO from the Capacity Building Directorate, Dr. Ton Hua from the WCO Regional Office for Capacity Building for the Asia-Pacific region, my dear colleague and friend. And then we have Professor Andrei Klachenko from the Russian Customs Academy, and Mr. Yon-Soo Choi, Technical Officer from the World Customs Organization. At first, I will briefly, I have a presentation. If we can put it on the screen, please. In my presentation, the WCO has asked me to seek some examples from the INCU members and affiliates about their cooperation with customs administrations in their home countries, as well as with customs administrations in other countries. So in my presentation, I have a few examples, but let me just say straight away that this is just a tiny bit of what is really going on. If I was to present all of the examples, I'll probably take the whole day. So just a few examples. And also, I included only examples from those who have provided the information. But first, just a couple of slides about INCU, especially for those who are not very familiar with our organizations. We have been established in 2005 as an international not-profit organization to first and foremost promote the academic standing of the customs profession, to promote excellence in customs matters, promote academic research in customs, organize various events and conferences on customs and trade-related matters, to provide, we have also been established to provide a single point of contact with different universities and research centers that are active in the field of customs, either through the educational programs or through research activities. And we also hope to provide a global resource for customs students, for customs professionals and academics who are interested in research in the matters of customs. As of today, this is our current membership base. We have 22 institutional members, which only includes, that category of membership only includes academic institutions, and I know several of our institutional members are present at this conference, 142 individual members, and 149 affiliates. And our affiliates include academic institutions, non-academic institutions, private sector organizations, as well as customs administrations. There are currently 85 countries represented in the INCU. I'll give you a few seconds to look at this list. If you don't see your country in the list, please come and see me, and we will see how we can add it to this list. That means that a member from that country would need to join INCU. So today I will share some examples from our members of Customs Academia cooperation. And these are the types of the cooperation activities that I will be presenting: research projects, joint development of academic programs and other training programs, different events such as seminars, conferences, internships at customs administrations or vice versa, where customs officials come to university to do some academic research, as well as other activities, capacity building and other relevant ones. So the first example of cooperation between customs and academia on this slide is cooperation between the World Customs Organization and INCU itself. So the World Customs Organization represents customs administrations, INCU represents academic institutions, and we primarily cooperate through the PICARD program with Capacity Building Directorate in terms of developing and maintaining the academic standards, PICARD, professional standards, and with WCO research unit in participation and organization of the PICARD conference. So the WCO maintains the professional standards which were jointly developed by members of the INCU and WCO, and we also, the INCU publishes the World Customs Journal, which is co-badged with the WCO, and from time to time WCO officials publish their research in our journal. In 2009, INCU and WCO have signed a Memorandum of Understanding to promote cooperation in the development of world customs training, education, and other capacity building activities and research. And this memorandum was renewed in 2012. So first in a list is the example from Azerbaijan. In this case, this is the establishment of our regional office, which was established in September 2015. This is a cooperation between INCU and Azerbaijan Customs, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the representatives of Azerbaijan Customs, Dr. Shahin Bagirov and Mr. Dilavar Farzaliyev. So this office was established in 2015, and we have several activities, ongoing activities, cooperating with Azerbaijan Customs. So one of our main activities is the annual International Student Conference. This is a collaboration between Azerbaijan Customs Academy, and INCU. This is an ongoing project, and first started in 2016. So we had our first International Student Conference in Gabala, Azerbaijan. The theme for that conference was Youth Dialogue, Capacity Building Through International Customs Cooperation. It was attended by more than 100 participants from over 20 countries. So, and this year, in July, we held the second International Student Conference in Gusar, Azerbaijan. This was a bigger conference with some 170 participants from over 30 countries. And the theme for that conference was Contemporary Issues and Challenges in Customs Management. At this conference, there were also two Nobel laureates, Professor Edward Prescott and Professor Christopher Passeridis, and I know some of our members who are present in the room participated in that conference. Another initiative through our regional office, cooperation between INCU, Azerbaijan Customs, and World Customs Organization Regional Office for Capacity Building in Europe. So I would like also to take this opportunity to thank the head of ROCB, Mr. Roger Herman. I don't think he is in the room, but I thank him anyway. And this activity is the winter school that we hold every January. It includes seminars, field visits to other institutions in Azerbaijan, as well as visits to customs and cultural program. So this program or this activity usually lasts between 1 to 2 weeks. We invite lecturers from various countries to come to Baku and deliver lectures, and the activity usually takes place at the facilities of the WCO Regional Office for Capacity Building. So we started this activity in 2006. We've held another one in January this year, and we are planning to hold another winter school in January 2018. Another example of academia customs cooperation from Azerbaijan is the academic journal. Its name, full title is the Journal of Customs and Economic Review. It was launched earlier this year, and this is a cooperation between Azerbaijan Customs and Azerbaijan Customs Academy. And we would invite you to submit articles in English to this journal. Initially, if you have any articles that you want to publish, you can send them to me, and I will forward it to the appropriate people who are responsible for editorial of this journal. Another example from Australia, the Centre for Customs and Excise Studies at Charles Sturt University, in collaboration with Australian Border Protection Service, we did a project on Australia's utilization of free trade agreements. This project is already completed, and the report, I'm not sure if it is public, but it may be available on the Australian Customs website. So currently in Australia, the Centre for Customs and Excise Studies is conducting a research project on the Australia's National Trade Facilitation Committee, which is a requirement under the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement. This project is still ongoing. It is a collaboration between Centre for Customs and Excise Studies from Charles Sturt University, Australian Customs, Australian Private Sector Association, and other government agencies. Example from Brazil and the United Kingdom. This was a research project, comparative analysis of business-government relationship and trade facilitation in United Kingdom and Brazil. The participating organizations was the University of Nottingham from UK, Campinas University in Brazil, and Brazil Customs, UK Customs, and other trade facilitation stakeholders. This was the 2-year project. As I understand, it has been completed, and the results of the study will be published very soon. Example from China. This is a study program, lectureship program from Netherlands to China. Participating organizations Shanghai Customs College and Netherlands Customs. So this is an ongoing activity which started in 2013, and each year an expert from Netherlands comes to Shanghai to give lectures on various topics. Another example from Shanghai Customs College in collaboration with Netherlands Customs is their attachment program. It's a kind of, you may be called an internship program, whereby the faculty and students from Shanghai Customs College go to Netherlands for 2 weeks and participate in various activities of the Netherlands Customs. So this activity started in 2014, and it is an ongoing activity. Here are some photographs from Netherlands. You can see the faculty and students from Shanghai Customs College at the facilities of the Netherlands Customs, and at the end of the program they usually get the certificate for participating in this attachment program. Another example from China, this time from another of our Chinese members, University of International Business and Economics from Beijing. They collaborate with China Customs Information Center in publishing the annual report on China's foreign trade activity. This is an ongoing project and published annually. The University of International Business and Economics also have established a sort of a collaborative academic program with China Customs Training and Education Center. It's a Master of Public Administration. This program is only available for customs officers, and approximately 40 to 50 customs officials are accepted every year into this program. Also from the University of International Business and Economics, they have an internship program with regional offices of China Customs, whereby students from the university go for 5 weeks in summer and undertake internships, and about 20 to 30 students annually are undergoing this program. So another cooperation is a capacity building activity that's from Germany and Kenya, University of Münster, Kenya School of Revenue Administration, and Kenya Customs. And they are cooperating on building capacity of Kenya customs officers, and they feel that other customs administrations from the region will also be joining this kind of collaborative activity. Example from Latvia, from Riga Technical University, which is also an affiliate of INCU. They're currently engaged in this border management in Central Asia project, and it is a collaboration between Riga Technical University, the Latvian Customs, Latvian Ministry of Agriculture or Food and Veterinary Service, and also the Ministry of Finance of Lithuania. And this is an AU-funded project, and Riga Technical University is a leading institution in this project. Example from the Netherlands, the academic program, Executive Master in Customs and Supply Chain Compliance. This is collaboration between 3 universities and Netherlands Customs: Erasmus University Rotterdam, Delft University of Technology, Eindhoven University of Technology, and Netherlands Customs. So currently they have the 3rd intake, and approximately 30 students are enrolled in that program. Example from Qatar, in collaboration with Australia, established an academic program, Associate Degree in Customs Management. It is between the Center for Customs and Excise Studies, Qatar Community College, and Qatar Customs. So customs officials from Qatar are undertaking this 2-year program, which commenced in 2014, and it is an ongoing program. Another example, this time from Russia. It's a research project, Customs Administration in 21st Century. The participating organizations is the Northwest Institute of Management, and representatives of this institution are here with us today, and the Russian Customs Service. So it is an ongoing project for 3 years, started in 2014, and the institute's teachers, they are involved in developing various monitoring on various topics, risk management and performance management of customs. So this project involves a working group where professors and faculty of the Northwestern Institute and officials from Russian Customs are collaborating. And I think this is the last example. So academic program, Certificate in International Customs and Trade Compliance, was established in 2015. And this is a collaboration from the Center for Customs and Excise Studies, Australia, University of Rio Grande, Texas, and United States Customs and Border Protection Service. It commenced in 2015, and it is an ongoing project. So I think we will leave questions for later. Thank you for your attention, and I would like to invite the next speaker, Mr. Giovanni Gaeta, to present about some initiatives, some new initiatives, or maybe we can call them revived initiatives from the WCO Capacity Building Directorate. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Mihail. Sorry for the pronunciation of your name, is always a problem for me. First of all, I would like to thank the Tunisian Customs for the excellent cooperation that provided to the WCO in order to arrange this wonderful event. And I would like to thank all of you for being so patient to be here after 3 days and after a lunch. So thank you for expressing your interest in being here at the end of this long session. My name is Giovanni Gaeta. I'm the new PICARD coordinator within the Capacity Building Directorate of the World Customs Organization. I would like to ask to start with my presentation, if you can put it on the screen, please. Today we are going to discuss about the cooperation among the university and the customs. Actually, PICARD is the first and one of the most important examples, according to my opinion, of this form of cooperation. PICARD stands for Partnership in Customs, Academic Research and Development. We started from this point, actually, almost 10 years ago. I've been appointed as coordinator of PICARD just lately, 3 months ago. I had to find out what exactly was PICARD. For me, this was a completely new thing. And actually, I asked to myself, how do we get there? How PICARD is structuring, how it's driven, how it's functioning. And that's what I was trying to summarize in this presentation. So the first one will be, let's say, how do we get here? We arrived here through this small timeline that I try to design in this slide. Actually, the PICARD program was launched officially in 2006 as a result of a series of previous discussion and meetings between the WCO Secretariat and the academic partner. Michael already mentioned the starting and the launching of the INCU, the International Network of Customs University. They became the pillar with the Secretariat in creating the PICARD program. The aim at that moment actually were to increase the professional knowledge and standing of customs executives and practitioners, provide a cooperation framework for customs education and research, encouraging national adoption of an integrated education, training, and human resources development scheme by education authorities, initiate new approaches to customs wall of career development strategies. That was 2006. After 2 years, a specific set of standards has been defined in cooperation with academia, and that will be published, the so-called professional standards. We are going to see it better in the next slides. In 2009, a formal recognition process for recognition of customs curriculum provided by university has been defined. And from 2006 up to now, 12 wonderful conferences have been organized. If we move forward and we try to reply to the next question, actually, how it works, how it's going. So the idea is that PICARD is composed by 2 main pillars. The first one is the research. The second one is the professionalism. We have different topics. They, of course, are cross-cutting issues, but basically we can have this main distinction. In the research pillar, we can include the dialogue, the interdisciplinary approach to research and policy analysis on custom matters, international trades, and borders. We have the annual conference that offered great opportunity for customs experts, university professors, trade, businessmen to gather and to discuss openly opportunities, possibilities, challenges, limits. If we move to the second part, to the second pillar, which is the professionalism, we are focusing more on the education. We have, as I mentioned before, the professional standards that are trying to define the role of managers, senior managers, but even middle managers in the role they are expected to perform according to the customs of 21st century. Based on these professional standards, we have the framework of principles and practices on custom professionalism, which is a sort of compendium of practices and principles related to the human resources management and how to benefit from a modernization process, how to put the human resources at the service of the new goals of customs. In addition, we have a constant dialogue with academia because we have this dialogue for research, as we said in the first pillar, but we have even the Okay, they are suggesting me to speak slowly. Thank you for the suggestion. I'm sorry, but that's my character. So I'm usually running, and even I speak very fast. Sorry for the interpreter, and I would like to congratulate with interpreters for the excellent job they did in these 3 days. Without them, we wouldn't be able to work, to understand each other, despite our knowledge and our capacity in language, but we really need them. And I would like to applause to our interpreter. And I apologize for being so fast. Thank you very much. We were mentioning, so the two pillars, the research and the professionalism. So this is how it's composed, how PICARD is composed, but how it's driven? That was my third question. PICARD is driven by, let's say, it is driven, of course, by the WCO Secretariat, but because we really believe, we truly believe in the partnership and in the cooperation with academia, we are not running this program alone. So we involve the academia even in the managing of the program, in the general managing of the program. That's why, in 2008, the Secretariat created the WCO PICARD Advisory Group, which is composed by a defined number of professors. Actually, they are member of this group, not as professor, but as representative of their own university. So the institutions are joining the Secretariat in this day-to-day activity, in managing the activity of the PICARD. The PICARD Advisory Group is in charge, as you can see in this in the slide, is in charge of providing advice on WCO professional standards, in cooperating in the annual PICARD conference, and in the following up of any issue may arise in the managing of the project. I'm sorry, maybe I'm going too slow now and I'm a little bit more boring, but we need to find a compromise. So life is all compromising. If we move forward to two of the main instruments and tools that we have in the custom professionalism pillar of PICARD, we mentioned the professional standards and we mentioned the recognition of the university. I would like to focus more on these two elements, which are interconnected, and they are very popular, let's say. I got aside during this event a lot of side questions about the recognition of the academia, so it's important maybe to address this with a specific slide. The base of everything are the professional standards. Actually, they've been developed by the Secretariat with the university, with INCU, with three main objectives. Actually, they were aiming to develop benchmarks can be used in order to develop job profiles for customs recruitment. So the professional standard can be used for the recruitment. On the other hand, we have the possibility to benchmark the standards, to have the standards as benchmark against which the members can measure their own in-house training activities. A third and additional element that could be mentioned is the opportunity to develop standards against which the academic development can be designed. So the standards are trying to define, as we can see, the role and to define the competencies required by the managers at the senior level and the middle level. We have 6 versions of this. I mean, we have 6 translations. Of course, we have just one version. But in order to grant the most possible diffusion of this document, in addition to the traditional language of WCO, English and French, we have the translation in Arabic, in Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian. In order to present the structure of the PICARD standards, I prepared this slide. You can see from there that the Mediterranean influence to my culture is quite strong. I represented like a Greek temple just because I'm Italian and we are completely influenced by Greek culture. So we have, as you can see in the architraves, we have strategic manager, leader, and operational manager leader. So, oh, sorry, they are making a, that's a slide, sorry. So that's our slide I was mentioning before. As you can see, this is the temple structure that I was mentioning and is influencing my culture. So we have actually in the architraves, we have the two main elements, the strategic manager and the operational manager. The strategic manager is considered someone who is offering vision to the administration. The operational manager is someone who is looking after the day-to-day business. So we have senior managers and middle managers. We don't have description or elements for the other officers. And that might be a possible idea for the future. Then we have, as you can see in the columns, you can see 6 columns, 3 for each architraves. And they are providing with knowledge requirements, skill requirements, behavioral requirements, which are necessary to perform the managerial task. Actually, it's not enough to know all the topics. It's not enough to be an excellent communicator. It's not enough to be a passionate person. If the 3 elements are not combined together, it's hard to achieve our goals. That's why we need to include in this knowledge, skills, and aptitude approach, we need to include the knowledge, just to mention the customs business, the policy development, financial management, but we need to add to the knowledge even the skills requirements, leadership, capacity to motivate people, problem solving, communicating. They are skills that apply to all the jobs, not just to customs, but we cannot avoid to consider them. And in the end, we need to have even behavioral requirements, so ethics, confidence, empathy. I'm particularly keen and stress the importance of empathy. In order that we are an international organization, we work together, we are customs, we work with strangers, we work with the borders. We need to be empathic with the others. We need to understand what they want, what they think. It doesn't mean that we are going to comply with their desire. It seems that we are open to understand them. And if we understand the others, we will be capable to deal with them and to be more effective in achieving our goals. So we cannot teach probably empathy. This is something that is not easy to be achieved, but we need to be aware that it's an important element of our job, of our daily job. Moving forward, moving to the other element, the other additional element we were considering, the recognition of customs curriculum from the WCO. This is an important element. In 2009, formal procedure had been set up. So we have these guidelines. They are available on the website of the WCO. Anyway, I'm spreading the contact of the Secretariat and my personal contact, but all the Secretariat is at your disposal. If you not find them easily on the website, you can simply send us an email and we'll provide you with all the documents related. What I was trying here to summarize is actually how the recognition is functioning. The process is a bit long sometimes, but is quite simple. It's made of 4 phases, actually. The first one, as you can see, it's a formal application. So any university wishing to receive the WCO recognition must lodge an application according a template that is attached to the guidelines. Once this application needs to be sent to the WCO Secretariat, to the PICARD coordinator, which is in this case myself. But you don't know, that's not necessary to write my name in the application. As long as the procedure is, as long as the documentation is achieving to the Secretariat, it will be assigned very easily. The second step, what we do in the Secretariat is cooperating with the academia. So this is our topic, the topic of today, cooperating with university professors. And what we do, we create an academic assessment group, AAG. It's a group composed by 3 professors. They are called to evaluate the application submitted by the university. The standards, for make a comparison, are the one I mentioned before, the PICARD professional standards. So before applying, you need to be aware and to read the standards in order to see if your current curriculum is in line with the standards. This is the first work you have to do in order to avoid, to simplify the process, to make it shorter in the end. The panel, the academic assessment group, the 3 professors forming this panel, they make their own evaluation and they prepare their recommendation. They can seek for additional information if something is not clear. They can refuse the application if it's completely missing the minimum criteria. They can approve in part, asking maybe to the participant to modify some issues, some point, or we can. This is our goal, to have the full recommend and in total the application presented by the university, because it's fully compliant with the standards. Once the Secretariat is receiving a positive feedback from the assessment academic group, we can start with the 3rd phase, which is setting up an additional group. We call it Member Assessment Group. Actually, it's composed by 3 people, even in this case. They are part of the customs administration all around the world, and they gave us additional recommendation. At the end of this further analysis, the recommendation provided by professors and the recommendation provided by the members, they came to the Secretariat, and we considered and we took the final decision. All this process takes some months, as you can imagine, so there is a time limit. We are trying to improve it, and we are trying to reduce the current timing. Just to give you some figures related to the current status, in 9 years, because the standards have been published in 2008, in 9 years we have now 9 universities which got a recognition by the WCO, 18 recognized curricula, because in some universities there is more than one course, and currently we have 3 ongoing applications. When I mentioned the ongoing application, I make reference to some universities which are already in the process. They are maybe in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but they are all already in the process. Informally, I can mention to you that I've received many requests of information, so I'm expecting the next months many other applications for the recognition. Actually, this is the state of art, but the question is, what is next? What's going on from this point? The standards, as I said, were published in 2008, 9 years passed already, and the world moves very fast, and custom is trying to keep the pace. It's not so easy sometimes, and since 2008, many elements arise, such as, just to mention, this is not the exhaustive list, there is an increasing role of new technologies, there is the potential of data analysis for effective border management, there are many opportunities coming from a stronger stakeholder engagement, there is a growing administrative cooperation at the national and international level. Customs is not anymore a monad working alone in vacuum, in a space, without making reference to other institutions internally and at international level. There are some successful experience even at regional level from which we could learn. So if we see that, and we do believe this in WCO Secretariat, the people are the customs engine. If the people are the center, probably the standards need to be reconsidered. So up to now, and that's what I'm going to ask you now, up to now, we would like to know, and we are start thinking if is the proper time for starting a real analysis about PICARD professional standards in the after a positive and successful history of 9 years. If the standards nowadays are fully covering the needs of customs community and the other stakeholders, they are useful, we are completely sure. But is there something missing? Maybe after a while, after some years, we are used to the standards, so we see all just how good they are, but probably there is something more that we can do. It's time for update them, and if the answer is yes, to which extent? Those are the questions that we have today. In the Secretariat, we are discussing to move to a sort what we call a 4-step approach, which is actually based on, today with the first step, opening up a public discussion since the PICARD conference. Then after this wonderful conference, we are going next week to move to a next step, which is a formal invitation. You will receive, all of you, you will receive a formal invitation from the Secretariat to provide feedback on PICARD standards. Then, together with the PICARD advisory group, together with the academia, we are going to evaluate the inputs and to decide, at the 4th step, if it's time to review the professional standards. Just to reassure you, this is just a consideration that we are trying to improve our standards, but the basic of the standards are there, and all the ongoing requests that we have for the recognition are not going to be affected by this process. So we have already the standards, so all the current recognition requests will be following the current version of the standards. This is just to be clear. So this is not creating additional delay to the procedure, which is already a bit long. So now from your side, that's what I would like to ask you, but we are going quite fast and running out of time. So as far as I understand, we are gathering all the questions for the end, probably. So I will give the floor to the next speaker. And I actually invite you to consider if you have comments, if you have proposals, if you have feedback, opinion, criticism, doubt. Everything is welcome. You know, in the academia and the research world, there are no stupid questions, there are no stupid comments. Everything is useful. We are super happy to cooperate with all of you. And if we don't have now the proper time to discuss, if this is not maybe we don't have enough time, the Secretariat is always open to receive your inputs in written form in a very easy way. You can write a mail, call us, you can fix an appointment, Skype conference. We are at your disposal. Here you can find our mail address, and I guess most of you already have my direct contact. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Professor Andrei Glachenko from the Russian Customs Academy, and Professor Glachenko is the Vice Rector for International Relations, and he's going to present some initiatives from the Russian Customs Academy.
Thank you, Mikhail. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure and honor for the Russian Customs Academy to make our presentation today during our roundtable. First of all, I would like to thank very much the Tunisian government and customs for their hospitality and very good organization of this conference, and many thanks to you for your patience and motivation during this afternoon roundtable. As title for our presentation today, we chose Partnership, Customs and University, a Synergy of Knowledge. This title is not our know-how, nor our copyright, but the idea that is within, from our opinion, is very important, because academia, customs, and private sector together have huge synergy potential. What we'd like to introduce to you today is the international WCO model that we had earlier this year in April, And this model was for our students who are customs-oriented. We already discussed and saw it many times that to achieve something, you have to have trust. Trust is based on understanding, and understanding is based on education. So at present stage, for our model, it was important to simulate the activities of international organization having the WCO example. This idea is not new, because in a Russian educational process, we have many examples of such things. Most common is, for example, the United Nations model, the WTO model, and on this basis, going further, we decided to develop a WCO model, and we think it's a bit innovative, because it's not just a simulation. To make it innovative, we invited representatives from more than 20 countries to Russia, and among them, not just the academia, but also the representative of the private sector and the acting customs officers. So our students had wonderful possibilities to learn by doing not only that study during their just standard academic course, but at the same time have wonderful experience to discuss with people from many countries how it is go in their countries, what are their experience, what are their points of view. So it was a role-playing event where all participants try to represent different countries of the world and to discuss current issues, to get, of course, familiar with WCO structure and procedures, and even, as a result, try to work out their own solutions. The goals of the whole idea was, first of all, to link theory and practice. And here in the past we realized interesting things, because when we tried to organize such events between pure practitioners and pure researchers, sometimes at the end the reaction was that the practitioners said, we can't discuss things with the researchers because they just don't know how to do. Whereby the researchers said, we just have nothing to discuss with them because they just don't know anything. So to avoid this, we think that theory and practice in their link is a very important thing. Secondly, to improve the professional competence of students who want to study the best modern practices of customs administration in their countries and in the world. And what is also very important, to have the live discussion whereby they all acquire debating and negotiating skills based on their existing knowledge, and at the same time they share experience on this innovative Russian Customs Academy youth platform. So the tasks, of course, are to study the structure, principles of activity, and functions of WCO committees and bodies. That's very important. Then to enhance skills of debate, public speaking, and to encourage intercultural dialogue. What is also very important is to work in multi-language ambience, including speaking the official languages of WCO in their professional cooperation. To improve skills in self-work and also at the same time in teamwork and see how it goes together, it's also a great opportunity for students. And of course, at the end of the day, a good result for result-oriented group, to know how to organize and to lead them, it's also a very good experience. So we all know the slogan of WCO, Borders Divide, Customs Connect. So at the opening of the first Moscow International WCO model, the opening was done by Mr. Secretary General Kunio Mikuriya, as well as the first Deputy of the Federal Customs Service of the Russian Federation, Mr. And also the head of Russian Academy, Mr. Vladimir Mantuzov, who is a doctor in economics. What we have in Moscow, and are very happy and proud, is the Moscow International Club of Customs Attaché that works under the auspices of the Federal Customs Service. So there we have the representative, the acting customs officers from many countries who on a regular visit share their experience with our students, and they were also the active participants of this innovative model we are talking about. So on the agenda, we divided all the participants into 2 group meetings with the current issues that were development of e-commerce and authorized economic operators. It was not by hazard, because actually and often the development of e-commerce is what the customs authorities are doing, whereby the authorized economic operators is the job of the private sector. So to work in these 2 sections, in these 2 groups, was very important from, first of all, to know how it goes within the group, and then to exchange the minds, the ideas and experience between the groups themselves. So as the task, it was to present and protect the official position of the country, of the agenda in the framework of clearly set rules and procedures. And at the end of the meeting, each working group, by consensus, adopted the final paper containing recommendation how to solve a specific problem. So here you see the example how the e-commerce work group worked and authorized economic operator group. So, of course, in our opinion, this event was very, very important because of several things. First of all, the students had the great opportunity to know about geography, culture, tradition in various countries. Also to get acquainted with international practices to enhance their skills of intercultural communication in speaking and writing. And of course, for students it's important to do some public speaking, and not only public speaking, but also debating and negotiating in foreign languages. So as a result, we can say that, of course, it was a successful role-playing event. It was an innovative platform, and I already explained why. It was live communication with the leadership and officials. So we had the possibility to see how the customs authorities and economic cooperation trends go, and high level of mutually direct activity and interaction was also present there. And of course, the opportunity to engage, get involved in practical activities is always good for students. So since our conference this year is in Tunisia, and within our Customs Academy, we would like to have balance in everything, including foreign languages. With your permission, I would like to have my short summary conclusion in French.
Alors, yes, as we have already seen, this chain of training and understanding and trust has really the key points of our philosophy and training and approach. At the Russian Academy of Customs, we believe that this triangle of university, customs, and the private sector, and the mentality acquired through university will remain with us throughout our life. And of course, the professional capacities, and especially if these are but the implementation on the agreement on facilitation of exchanges, which is done in English or drafted, this subject becomes more and more important. And thirdly, maybe we can maybe try to do it, and would be very glad to do this in cooperation with INCU, and to discuss this with the WCO on how to do this to extend our horizons in the field of education and training, and for the professional capacities, and not only the customs training, but also the economic training. And if it is, we're talking about foreign trade, and first of all, and secondly, of a global economy, because of course, this training and this education are, for us, or as far as we're concerned, or give us an idea, or that by using all this stuff, we will succeed. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Klechenko. And now we have our next speaker, Dr. Tong Hua from the WCO Regional Office for Capacity Building for the Asia-Pacific region.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a very great honor for me to be here. First, I want to thank you, WCO Secretariat, especially the research unit, to giving me the floor to be here. So I'm really so happy to be here. And could you please turn on my presentation? Okay, thank you very much. So today, my topic is focusing for the regional practice for the partnership between customs and academia in Asia-Pacific region. So let's look at this old picture. Actually, this is a very historical picture. It's in 2008. Maybe some of you already attended that PICARD conference. That's the third PICARD conference hosted in Shanghai. I was very lucky. At that time, I, together with my colleague, Mr. Gao Xiang, Ms. Lily, at the time we are in the same team. We are the key player as the project manager hosting the third PICARD conference in Shanghai. So nearly 9 years, now it's the 12th PICARD conference. So it's, I think for me, personally, I really feel very special moment here. I want to sincerely thank you for WCO Secretariat continuously support for this academic and research conference, and also I want to show my gratitude to every host customs administrations, especially this year, Tunisia Customs, for your warmest welcome and hospitalities. Thank you so much for it. So my topics mainly for two parts. First, I want to speak a little bit about our ROCB's new research initiatives, and then I will come to list some cases in AP region related with this topic. As you all know, WCO divided 6 regions. So I'm very happy to see some of the colleagues from ROCB European and also ROCB, I think, Central South Africa also presenting here. And I'm attended some sessions delivered by your some of the research outcomes. So I think we really looking forward to cooperate with you in this field. So in AP region, generally there are 33 members for customs, and our office, ROCB, is in Thailand, and then we have 7 regional training centers, which is RTC Korea, Japan, RTC China, RTC India, RTC Fiji, RTC Malaysia, and RTC Hong Kong. So that's the regional mechanism in capacity building in our office. We are the first ROCB in the world since 2004, and Thai Customs kindly be the host of our office. So our office is inside the Thai Customs Department. Our main mission, I just very short to briefly. And first, we implement of WCO's tools and instruments. And secondly, we build partnership with other parties. I think this time, I especially want to say we want to build more close relationship with the academia parties. And then we have to do our jobs for the capacity building, needs survey, and delivery, and then we evaluate, and also we manage management for the workshops. And finally, we will have some kind of the platform to show our newsletters and websites. This is the current organizational structure. So I'm the CCF China founding manager, and also now I'm in charge of the research part of our CBAP. So I'm willing to cooperate with you in the research fields for any AP region members. And we have also other staffs from Korea, from Japan, and we have Hong Kong staff and 3 staff from Thailand. And other than that, there's a customs attaché from based in Bangkok, actually from New Zealand and Australia. They are like our outsourcing staff. This is, I just mentioned, we have a website and a newsletter, and annually we will draw lots of the reports. So I think for the researchers, I think if you look very carefully about some of the activity we organized, I think definitely you will find lots of useful information. Please come to check our website and publications. This is something I want to say here. Since actually last year, our CBAP launched the new research function, and because we want to anchor the theme of the WCO, the year, data analysis, actually we are thinking, we organized a lot of the capacity building workshops and activities. There's a lot of valuable materials for research, because basically a lot of the participants from the member countries, they will come to the workshop and sharing lots of the best practice, focusing from specific areas. So I think I'm thinking about when the workshop finished, we cannot just let those valuable materials and the information just saved in our folders. We need to dig it out. We need to do data mining. We need to put those capacity building data into a vivid kind of case and a summary to guide at least for regional members, best practices. So this year, our ROCB is currently, I'm doing a research focusing for the e-learning part, especially for the national e-learning platform, which some of the customs already decided. So I'm trying to explain a little bit about the research purpose. This keeps giving it. So, for example, for the module 1, China Customs already they got an e-learning platform. So every China Customs officer, if they have like password and IDs, and they can enter into this e-learning platform, they can choose the subject they want. You might know WCO has a WCO click system for the e-learning platform. Then China Customs already translated into a Chinese version. So the customs officer can choose whether they can choose bilingual version, whether you prefer. Then, and other than that, then the WCO's click system, China Customs also designed some of the courses by themselves, and also introduced some of the very prestigious universities courses, some online course, some open course, and others. And the second case is currently we are collecting a case for Hong Kong Customs e-learning system. Actually, I think this is a very good example of how to combine the theoretic training with the practice training together. First, they called it blended learning module. And it's really, they divided 3 functioned courses. For example, like the passenger control, and also the cargo pricing, and intelligence and investigation courses. Why they pick these 3 courses for the e-learning? Because that's the fundamental, I think, key courses for you becoming a customs officer. So mainly these courses are designed for those newly recruited, but they might be only worked in customs for maybe 1 or 2 years. They already accumulated some experience, but they still want to know something very deeper. So these courses are designed for the officers entering into the customs from like year 2 to year 5 to be more advanced, let them to know more deeper about the knowledge in these relative fields. And one of the features, actually, before the practical training, they let their customs officer just self-learning through the e-learning platform, and they combine the e-learning courses and together with a practical session. For example, here for the passenger processing course, first, after the self-studying of the e-learning, then you go to the classroom. Then they have 2 days practical training. So some lectures with the training facilities will explain every key points of the e-learning which they got. For example, they have very kind of real situation of the customs. They have built very similarly like the real situation with the passenger control at the airport. And also they have other very vivid facilities for it. So I think this is a very good example for enhance the training efforts to combine those things together. I think it's a very good example. So actually, I want to seeking more support from, especially I saw some members from AP region also attended the PICARD conference. I want to seeking your support. If you're in your customs administration or if you're from the academia side, you have also some joint program, especially for the e-learning courses. Please share with me. I'd like to put your names together in this research. So now I share some cases of the academia and customs collaboration in AP region. I think fundamentally we are talking about the partnership between the customs and the academy. It's all about the customs professionalism. And this is something we really in pursuit of. And I think of course, we are designing lots of the curriculum courses and also like the training, and also we design lots of the research focusing for this field is to increase the professionalism of the customs field and draw more attention from the other sides to pay much attention to the customs area, customs matters, customs question, what's the challenge of customs, what's the future of customs, things like that. So the first case is the China Customs Higher Education and Training Integration Model. Once I wrote an article on the World Customs Journal focusing for the strategy to internalization of China Customs Management Education System, and I asked the essay. I actually used China Customs, Shanghai Customs College as one example. And you might know around the world, there's, so far as I know, there's 3 customs college in the world. The first is, we have Russian Customs Academy colleagues here, and also we have Shanghai Customs College, and also there's another one, University of Customs and Finance in Korea. And I want to list the Shanghai Customs College as an example because I think SCC is a very good case of the partnership between customs and academic, because SCC is not only a university, it is also the WCO Regional Training Center and Customs National Training Center, and also that's also the Belt and Road Training Capacity Building Center of China. So it combines multiple functions together in one customs college. So I'll be very short about it. It's for mainly divided from their undergraduate students education, they have the customs administration. So not all the majors of the students, when they graduate, they will go to the customs. Only in the customs administration that this major will go. And they also have like the postgraduate academic education. Now I know it's for taxation, and they are applying the public administration of master degree in the future. And I think another case is for the college and college cooperation. I know through this platform and with the support of INCU, lots of the partners among the academia, they find the potential partners, and they really signed lots of the MOU and agreements to do lots of the joint course and joint research together. One thing I want to point out is because this conference also related with the research part. So I want to use SEC as one of the example because they have drawn a very close relationship with the customs. One thing from the customs side, sometimes we always thinking about from the academia, maybe, or from the research side, maybe they did very good theoretical work, but it cannot be maybe put into practice, or is that practical for customs? So I think this is a very good example. They draw the agreements with lots of the departments of the customs administration of China. Then, for example, they have a customs risk management research center, and they signed agreements with the PCA department of China Customs, and annually from this kind of mechanism will raise a lot of the research topics focusing for that, and publish lots of papers. And the second one I want to introduce is about the Japan WCO HRD Master Degree Program. This one is funded by the CCF Japan Customs Cooperation Fund. And mainly now they provided two kinds of master programs. And they have, the Japan Customs, they sign agreements with the local universities to together jointly design the master degree courses for the senior and also middle or senior high customs officer. Currently, they are one for the public finance program, and then the other one is for the strategic management and in IPR program. So far, they actually will introduce not only from the academia side, but also there will be some of the lectures from the custom side together. I think this kind of model already we can see elsewhere in the world. I know like Netherlands Customs together with the Rotterdam University, they also did quite good, like joint one part from the business side, one part from the customs. They joined in the co-classroom together to try to learn from each other, try to understand from each other. That's a very important thing. Then I think because my colleague from WCO, Mr. Choi, will further introduce about the Korea Customs EPCBA program, so I just skip it. Then before end of my speech, I would like to say I remembered in 2008 at the PICARD conference. At that time, I speak to the conference. At the time, the WCO safe framework, there's two pillars at the time. The first is customs and the customs cooperation. And the second one is customs and the business partnership. At that time, I want to say, I think the third pillar should be customs and academia or academic world, because that is really very important for the customs professional development, especially for the future of customs. We need more researchers throughout the world, more focusing to this area. So that's why I'm so happy to see lots of old friends and new friends coming to this PICARD conference. So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is, next and last speaker is Yonsu Choi, a technical officer from the WCO. We started our session a little bit late, so we'll finish it a little bit late, and we will have a roundtable discussion because this session is supposed to be a roundtable discussion, so we would like to hear your ideas as well.
Thank you, Mr. Mikhail Kazubsky, and thank you, everyone. I hope you're having a very good afternoon. So, as the last speaker, I promise that I'll make my presentation as concise as possible. So, I'm Yonsu Choi, working at the research unit of the World Customs Organization, but I'm originally from Korea Customs Service. So for this topic, let me represent both of Korea Customs and World Customs Organization. So it is my great pleasure to share one example of a partnership between the academic and the customs, which is the EPCBA, WCO scholarship program for customs officers supported by Korea Customs Service. So before 2015, the most WCO scholarship program were focused on young or working level officers. So for policymakers or high level managers, there were relatively less opportunities to develop and share their knowledges in customs policies. As you may know, the policymakers and high level officers have the power to change their customs administration, and they can secure the necessary resources for the change. We believe that supporting their knowledge sharing and attracting their attention to customs modernization and engaging them in the international policy area like PICARD are the most effective way in changing customs world. Given these circumstances, the Korea Customs consulted with the World Customs Organization to establish a scholarship program for policymakers. And finally, 2015, we launched the first EPCBA program. You can find the main characteristics of this program by examining the full name of this program. So EPCBA is an abbreviation for Executive Program in Customs and Business Administration. So EP represents the executive program, and this program was launched by referring some executive MBA programs. So now you can guess this program targets high-level officers in customs administrations, and the curriculums are composed of more discussions rather than the one-way lecture. And C represents the customs, so only customs officers can apply for this program. And BA represents the business administration. So this program aims to enhance customs officers' knowledge on global business environment and to facilitate the communication between private sectors and customs administrations. So actually, I told what I want to tell you for this program, so I quickly move to the next slide. So this program lasts only 7 weeks so that high-level officers can minimize their absence in their administration. And the first module, Customs Administration, aims to provide the recent trend of customs policies such as AEO, e-commerce, single window, and trade facilitation agreement. This module is organized mainly by Korea Customs Service officers who are certified for international training. The second module is Global Economy and Business Management. The second module aims to develop the participant knowledge on global policies and market trend through academic lectures. So this module is composed of subjects such as international trade and economics, free trade agreement, big data, tax policy, e-government, and some views from multinational companies as well. And we also provide some development history of Korea because we are very proud of the economic and social development in a short period. And third module, the action plan, is one of our key strengths of this program. So every participant are supposed to make 2 presentations. The first is at the beginning of the program. The first is the presentation of their country report. And the second is the action plan. So each participant and a group of participants are requested to make an action plan on how to implement new policy in their administration. So competent faculty of academic partners support each participant to prepare this action plan presentation, and which is followed by the feedback from the KCS officers and the academic partners. So you can see the list of some action plan names which covered various aspects of customs policy area. The fourth module, the leadership and management development, covers aims to enhance the personal management skill as leaders and composed of motivation, behavioral leadership, and self-development. This module is organized by an expert from the World Customs Organization. Lastly, the fifth module aims to enhance participant understanding of private sectors and their practices. We normally invite private companies managers who have experiences in customs clearance in multiple countries, or we visit their workplaces such as factories, distribution center, and warehouses. Their private sector's view in customs administration enable us to compare the members' practices. Currently, we have 2 academic partners for this program. The Kookmin University has successfully implemented the EPCBA program 3 times so far. This university has presented outstanding performance in several ODA projects with Korean government, and that's why this university is selected as our partner. And based on good performance and positive feedback of participants, the Korea Customs and World Customs Organizations decided to expand this program from once per year to twice per year. So last spring, the WCO selected another academic partner, which is the Seoul National University. And I'm very proud of this because the Seoul National University is one of the prominent university in Korea. So you can see the pictures of the first EPCBA program. This program was held from May to July in 2015 for 7 weeks, and 10 manager level officers from our members kindly participated. This is the pictures from the second EPCBA program. The second program was held from the February to April 2016. And the third was held from the last May and July this year. And the fourth EPCBA will be held the next January. And the call for application will be announced in the next month. So this is the last slide, and for each program, the KCS and World Customs Organization conduct participant satisfaction surveys. The survey asks the participant overall satisfaction on the program's curriculum, content, materials, and each lecturer's specialty and communication skills. So far, the response was highly positive, and We are trying to develop this program with the feedback of our members and the academic partners. Thank you for your attention, and I prepared, I hope I pronounced correctly, the Shukarang for Trinity and Custom. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all presenters. We will open the floor for discussion and for some questions in a minute. But just to set the theme for this roundtable discussion that we're going to have, hopefully, earlier today, some of the INCU leaders had a meeting with the WCO Research Unit representatives, Thomas Kantens, the head of WCO Research Unit, and to discuss how we can enhance cooperation further between the WCO and customs and academic institutions, particularly members of the INCU. And what we came up with is this idea of establishing a global customs research program, which will have several research projects under it. Initially, we are thinking of developing a survey for the INCU members that will be sent out to all INCU members, asking for some ideas and asking if they're interested in participating in this global customs research program. Then we are planning to develop the methodological framework of how this global research program will operate. We propose that this program will be coordinated jointly by the WCO Research Unit and the INCU Secretariat. And eventually, or at some point, once we develop the initial framework for the working of this global program, we hope to develop perhaps a joint list of topic or areas of priority for research for customs administrations or for WCO Secretariat, whatever it may be. And with that in mind, once we have the official list of topics and priority areas for research developed, depending on the feedback from INCU members, we hope to publish a list which will hopefully help to get some researchers some access to public funding or any other kind of funding which will help the research. So now I would like to open the floor for discussions and for questions in relation to this proposed research program or any other matters relating to academia and customs cooperation. And we have a question here from, please introduce yourself, Boris, just from there. No, it's okay, Boris. Keep it very, very short.
I'm just for 3 minutes of your attention with a short question and a very brief remark. I'm Boris Kabulinsky from St. Petersburg, Russia, Northwest Institute of Management, Presidential Academy. I did not expect to speak today. I just had a short talk with the WCO Head Research Unit, Mr. Thomas, and realized that we have a similar vision, which I wish to share with you. So our institute has become the 7th institute which has been recognized as according to PICARD standards. Afterwards, there have been 2 more. So what do we feel? We feel that there is a little bit lack of cooperation between PICARD institutes. And I believe that we could, with the help of the WCO, with the help of INCU anyway, we could share information and experience with each other a little bit more. So my offer and initiative, if I can put it like this, is very simple. We might create a small coordinating councilate which will include 1 representative from every PICARD university just to cooperate and discuss issues at least monthly. Digital technologies allow us to do this. And all this communication might be a part of INCU or WCO initiative anyway. So as for us, we are always open for any kind of cooperation and communication, and invite everybody who are already PICARD or are planning to become a PICARD institute to join us and solve same decisions in the field of researching and promoting standards of customs and foreign trade profession. Thank you. Hopefully my vision might be shared by other representatives of this conference, and I have to thank you for this little bit patience, because I understand that everybody is a little bit tired right now. So thank you for all panelists, and see you during next PICARD events. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we're going to have the closing remarks for the conference now, because the Director General of Tunisian Customs here, so we'll just deal with that, and we can recommence our discussion afterwards. So, Thomas, I pass the floor to you as the... Okay, yeah, we can continue. So we're gonna have a coffee break later after. So we'll continue this discussion for another 10 or 5 minutes, and then we'll have the closing remarks and the closing session for the conference. And after that, we're gonna have a coffee break. So please bear with us. Are there any other questions in relation to academia customs cooperation, or any other ideas that you would like to share? Please do it from your seat. We don't need you to come up to the stage. Anyone? So, does anyone have any opinion on what Boris has proposed? There is a question there? Yes?
Merci pour la parole.
Thank you for giving me the floor. In fact, Professor Justamat from the DRC. So I would like to thank the panelists. It's a vital question for me. First of all, I will introduce myself maybe a little bit quickly. I am the Director of Customs of the DRC. I teach in many schools. I am the Dean of the University for Management and Economics, which is a university that is set up on 26 provinces. So we have a large network of universities. My reaction is on the graphics that was presented on operational and strategic management. I tried to experiment this model. It depends. It depends from one place to another. So, but for us in the DRC, this model is insufficient. So that's why we added, on top of strategic management, we added tactical management, the operational management, as we said, and then operated or management, because the agents from customs, when they finish, they are assigned to multiple positions. So we followed the model by Henri Mitbert, which had put in logistics support and operational centers, plus the hierarchical pyramid or line. Another aspect on which I can maybe take some time. The accounting aspect, the customs accounting is not taken into account by the WCO or by our studies, while it is an important part or aspect. In my professional experience, we have been able to put in place an international accounting standard or that maybe I could present at the next PICARD conference. There's also the aspect of human rights. Today, the ISO 26000 so this organization, ISO 26000, already includes in its 7th pillar human rights, which are applied within companies. Yet the WCO is amongst the organizations and institutions which are meant to protect human rights. And we are now going towards digital human rights. And the WCO plays an important role in this aspect. The issue of language. Most of the time, literature is presented in English, yet we are in Francophone countries. Large part, or now members of the WCO come from Francophone countries, so we maybe need to develop this aspect of presenting our works in French too. Regarding the scholarships, very often the WCO gives scholarships, but it's rare for the WCO to provide scholarships for professors and researchers. I don't know, but in the DRC or in Africa, I have never seen a professor who received a scholarship for a few days in other universities or else. There's also the issue of disciplinarity. Customs today has left the disciplinary aspect, including the interdisciplinary aspect. So it's preferable that in the programs, in the existing programs and others, and the innovation of programs, we should take into account the interdisciplinary aspect. In fact, for me, we can go further, to go all the way through to transdisciplinarity, i.e. to use in all the existing disciplines or the studies the elements needed for the steering of the customs of the 21st century. So I am here formulating the request by my university, my Sakomat University. If I'd known, I would have brought the membership request from my university here, but I think we're going to be doing it anyways soon, and I would like to agree with the experts that will be in the PICARD program, and I would like to bring my modest contribution with what we are doing in our universities. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your useful input. Yes, I think this is something for Giovanni's consideration in terms of the developing the standards. The issues that were just raised should be taken by the WCO into consideration. So I think we will stop here, and we will have a closing session of this conference. And there is another question, but if you can keep your question short, please. Thank you, and introduce yourself.
D'accord.
Thank you. Well, thank you. So I am Fathi Aloui, a manager from Tunisian Customs. In fact, it's not a question that I have, but I would like to speak about an excellent experience in the field of academic training for customs, and also which comes into the framework of the cooperation between Tunisia and Algeria. In fact, it's an institute that was created in 1983 and which provides training, professional training of customs cadre, and after they have a degree, so it's a postgraduate, professional postgraduate program, and of course the citizens. Apologies, I shall stand up. So I'll start again briefly. So I would like to speak about the experience of cooperation, Tunisian-Algerian cooperation in the framework of course, of academic training for Tunisian customs and Algerian customs. It's in fact an institute that was created after an agreement between Algeria and Tunisia in 1983, and which provides training for cadre. So after they have a degree, or they can then go on a postgraduate program. And the alumni of this institute, many generations of these, are now high-ranking officials in the customs, Algerian and Tunisian customs departments or administration, and we are on our 38th class, on the 38th class of this institute. And thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we will have the closing session now. So I would like to invite the Director General of Tunisian Customs and the WCO Head of Research Unit to the stage to make some closing remarks. Thank you.
Bien, je vous remercie.
Thank you. Just a few more minutes of your attention for these closing remarks. So I have maybe a couple of remarks, with the first being that this edition of the PICARD conference seemed very dynamic and very animated. So, of course, the welcome of Tunisian customs is one of the reasons for this, with all the warmth that has come along this welcoming here. And there's also the fact that we spoke a lot about data analysis. And this is something that allowed it to go a bit into the functioning of customs and, companies and import-export companies, etc. And so this is a theme that I think we're going to continue to look into and encourage in the next conferences. I'm trying to sum up here a little bit what we've done, not really, but there's many themes that have been dealt with or covered, but it's also to see what we can discuss later. So data analysis, I believe, has allowed us to have dynamic discussions and very enriching to all. And I think everybody was very satisfied, at least from the first feedbacks I've had, whether from researchers or from the professionals from customs who are customs staff, or the private companies who are associated to the work of customs. This is my first point. The second point, maybe we can go a bit further, and this is what I would encourage probably, that we would encourage for the maybe next PICARD conference, by going a bit further into mathematics. What could mathematics bring or teach to customs, and what can we learn from it when we work in customs and we work around customs? Why do I say this? Because you remember the presentation by Professor Owejayi. He spoke a lot about trust and data in Canada, and also we dealt with this issue through biometrics and algorithms. And of course, there's this generalized defiance or fear, shall we say, of maths, and this even more, lack of trust on algorithms. And I think it would be good next year if we push this a bit further, and if we can find some presentations that will speak to us about the use of mathematics and the use of science and the use of data, as we did this time, but in a slightly more in-depth and technical aspect. So these were my few words. Of course, I would like to, in my, as far as I'm concerned, conclude here by saying a big thank you to the Minister of Finance, Mr. Rida Shalroum, Of course, a great thank you to you, Mr. Director General of Customs. Mr. Director General of Customs, you have mobilized the whole team, and it's also through these thanks that I'd like for all the participants to be aware a little bit through the list of thanks, because it's a rather large that I want through the list of thanks. I want you to understand all that was mobilized by Tunisian Customs for this conference to take place in good conditions. So you've put in place steering committee. That the members of the steering committee need to be thanked. There were steering committees, but there's also organization subcommittees that included presidents and members. That all need to be thanked too. And also, so this is for the whole organization, but for the actual execution and material conditions for security, there was a security and escort committee that was put in place long before the conference with the president and members. Thank you to this security and escort committee, especially the Customs Guard and the Office for Security, Customs Security. 2 units that are mobilized and exceptionally to guarantee the safety and security for all participants and for things to happen in the best possible way. And also, you have been in touch with a few, some people with a more direct rapport, possibly through the exchanges. It's the general coordinator of this whole organization. He's here, yes, he's right here. Do you not want to stand up? Please, Colonel Major Jawhar Hassayoun and his whole team. Thank you. A great thank you to Jawhar and his team who are with him down there. And so thank you very much for this organization. And there are ministries and public organizations that provided their support to the organization committee and to Tunisian Customs. It's the departments of the Ministry of Interior, the departments of the Ministry of Transport, and such as the airport office, and Tunisir, and of course the Tunisian tourism office, who maybe will look after you a bit more tomorrow on your cultural tours, and also the Ministry of Culture, who some members of who have been with us. Of course, I do not forget, in my thanks, the team of interpreters. We know them. We had already worked with them before. They were as perfect as they were last time. Really, a big thank you. The interpreters appreciate. Thank you, ladies and gents. I think I'm seeing in the back all the staff, the reception staff here that have been around to help you and direct you, etc. And I thank them. And also the team from the Rue Solier Hotel that we thank too. And also, and then it's a conference that was organized in partnership with the WCO. Personally, I didn't exactly do much, but there's one person that did a lot of stuff, and you all know her. It's Rachel McGoran. If she could please stand up. Rachel, please. Thank you, Rachel, for your professionalism. We think you're nearly Tunisian. You're professional, and a big smile and a welcoming and an enthusiasm for this conference. Thank you. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Director General, and I give you the floor. In the name of God the Merciful, colleagues from the various different customs and different nationalities and members, the WCO, to say the truth, it's difficult for a person to imagine the happiness that the Tunisian Customs is feeling today after, I can say maybe the success, I would say, of the PICARD conference that was held in Tunis, because of the challenge for Tunisian Customs was a big challenge. It was a big challenge, especially because, as my brother Thomas said, it covered all the stakeholders and the organization, covered all that, and covered all the stages and all the structures we created dedicated to this organization, only because to say that the customs of the world altogether are one customs department, and that they all are under the roof of the WCO, and they will always remain or stay the roof under which we discuss the various subjects. The PICARD conference is specific in so much as that it consecrates the openness of the world customs on the world of academia. And so here I'd like to direct a special salute to our colleagues from universities, and especially the École Supérieure de Commerce from Manuba, who was a strategic partner in the preparation and in organizing this event. We put all the means, the resources we could put, human and material resources for the preparation of this conference to show that Tunisia is a country that welcomes its guests and treats its guests with hospitality and protects its hosts. Tunisia is a safe country. Tunisia is a safe destination. And Tunis is a destination with a pleasant life level. We, in the side events of the conference, PICARD conference, we aimed to consecrate the multicultural image of Tunisia. Mr. Secretary General and our colleague from Korea mentioned Hassan Dous, but I would say that it's a Tunisian singer who sings in 5 or 6 languages alone. It's an indicator or proof that Tunisia is a multicultural state. It's a state with no, single way or one-way system. We live today in a democratic transition. That means that plurality and openness and tolerance is our biggest characteristic, and all these characteristics are present in the roof that all customs, come under, which is the WCO that we all are. Because I was present at the last council of the WCO, and I saw the discussions of the high level of civility and civilization. It was difficult discussions, but a high level of civility. I'm not going to go into the details of the conference with the matters that were very important. It's with pity that I was not able to assist in many of the workshops because of my continued work concerns, but I was following from a distance, and my colleagues from Tunisian Customs were giving me feedback and transmitting some of the news. I would have liked to be present, especially that the matter of the conference this year is data and data analysis, and he who has data has a power. And today here in our conference here, we went to data and we analyzed it in its whole aspect, and its economic and financial and customs aspects of data. So I am waiting impatiently for the data that's going to come out from this event. I will make sure to study everything that's going to come out, and I renew the promise of Mr. Minister of Finance, who was here with us for the opening, gave us the honor to. We will implement everything that will come or be concluded from this conference, which had a distinguished group of professionals and academics and participants from the private sector, and a constellation of the best cadre from the customs in the world. Long life to the WCO. Long live the Tunisian customs, and long live Tunisia. And thank you very much. You can all go home. There's a small coffee break for about half an hour, and then we come back for the Forum of Young Research.